Hi everyone, my name is Dan Gase from Dan Gase Support Services. Today I'm going to talk about growing up without a dad from 1983 until now, 2022, and the effects that I think it's had on my life. My early memories were quite strange of not having a dad. In 1986, 87, I started school and everyone had two parents, and I was always very confused of why I didn't have two parents. I only had one. I started asking questions, and my mum at the time told me my dad's name and that he supported Tottenham, a team that I followed. And also my other members of my family used to sort of say bad things about him, which used to make me feel awkward because I wanted to find out if they were true or not for myself. Being at school, junior and secondary, I really did struggle, especially with authority, especially from males, and also sometimes didn't show much respect to the females. I really did struggle with this, as I think I was having an identity crisis of who I was and where I come from. When I was 10, my mum got in contact with my dad and I was able to meet him. It was a very difficult situation. There wasn't much support shown to me from him or from my mum. My mum's side of the family didn't really want me to meet him. When I did meet him, I didn't know what to call him. Do I call him Dad? Do I call him by his first name? This relationship lasted probably a few months. He didn't really seem bothered with me in my eyes, and I gave up trying. At this time as well, my mum met a new partner. He didn't really like me. He was always very negative towards me, that I wasn't his son, and used to say things like, when you're 16, you're out of this house. Also, sometimes didn't used to fill the fridge up with food. So sometimes we wouldn't have much food in the house because I wasn't his son, so why should he feed me? I found myself feeling like a bit of a lone wolf, someone that survives on his own name, someone that sort of went out and did what he wanted to do. It was a very difficult time. I found myself looking for love in so many weird places and looking for support in strange places. I got into boxing, and I started doing door work and bodyguarding at such a young age of 16 and a half and 17. I found myself working to some of the biggest doors in London and around Uxbridge areas, and also looking after some of the biggest UK garage acts and some of the in the music industry at the time. Unfortunately, without any role models in life, apart from my granddad, who was always great and supported me, I was struggling to find out who I was, and I was trying to impress the wrong people. I got myself into lots of fights and ended up going to prison in 2002. I did 18 months in prison for my first offence of ABH. When I come home, I wanted to work with young people, so I started trying to train as a youth worker and then built myself up and become assistant head of a school. Even with such achievements, I struggled. I still looked around to find out who I was and where I'd come from, as in who was my dad. I used to do a lot of charity work for the Amy Winehouse Foundation, and just one day we was doing a football match against Tottenham Hotspur legends, and I sent loads of emails to local radio companies. One of them emails went to my dad. I didn't know this was my dad, and then I figured out it was my dad, and I asked him, "Oh, it'd be really nice to meet up. Do you know who I am?" He gave me one-worded answers, which again, the rejection shot back from when I was a child. We arranged to meet up, but he let me down at the last minute by email. A few years later, I bumped into him in the local supermarket where I was living. He turned away from me. I wasn't too sure what to do. Every emotion went through my body. I felt angry, I felt upset, I felt rejected. I didn't really know how to deal with these situations. At this point, I was 35. Now, I'm a dad of two myself. I show them love, support and care, everything they do. Today, I wanted to share my thoughts and feelings about growing up with a dad, and how I think my life could have been better if I'd have had that stable network of a father figure or a father in my life. I challenge anyone who is a stepdad, a dad, or just an adult in someone's life to be a listening ear to young people and listen to them and support them and help them on their journey.